Hello everyone, I am Emma K and my job is to listen to people who are living, creating and thinking in a different way. Their ideas will challenge your life choices, and tonight we're having a filmmaker from Mapenzi Media and he will tell us how he has been able to cope up with the whole lockdown situation. Mr. Charles, you're welcome.
Thank you, Emma, for
Uh,
hosting me.
all right. Tell us about yourself and what you do at Mapenzi.
I'm by names of Kasozi Charles, aka Nori.
No,
Um, I'm a Ugandan filmmaker. I'm working with Mapenzi Media in Uganda.
okay.
I'm the sound director in Mapenzi Media and a screenwriter. Yeah.
All right. So what do screenwriters do, to be brief?
Okay, I just used a different word, but it is script writing. So creative writers, just writing movies and stuff.
All right,
Yeah.
that's good. So how have you been able like to cope up with the whole lockdown situation? I imagine in filmmaking you're out in the field with gadgets and boom mics as you are a sound director. How have you been able to catch up and stay productive in the lockdown?
We didn't see this coming up, whereby the world could be put at standstill. It really affected the film industry, but it was an opportunity to some of us. We just had to embrace it. We had to embrace it, like accepting the new situation around us, and we try to minimize the space where we are working from going into the field to opt into indoors. So currently, Mapenzi Media is building a huge studio whereby everything shall be made indoors, even those locations you're seeing outside, like the cities and stuff. We are going to be using CGI to act like to take you everywhere in every maybe city where you want to be. So it
That's
has been an opportunity in a disguise to the Ugandan film industry.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me about the projects you've been able to create and maybe projects that are coming up in the next year or 1 month, or what are you expecting from Mapenzi Media or from you?
From Mapenzi Media, expect the best. I've worked on several projects. Last year, I worked on Bleach. It's a short film. I worked on a documentary called Hills of Stella. I worked on a feature film called titled Catch Out, titled Judas Kiss. It was directed by Chisto Samuel Savior, and it is making wonders in African world.
Okay.
Um, this year we opened up by a Catch Out. It's a feature project. It's still in post production for now, so sound designing and stuff, but everything is done. We've worked on many short films. There is Mbajo short film. I've worked on TV shows which include Open Up, Cinema Drive. I've worked on the Dining Table Tales, quite many, a lot of them.
Okay, I've heard of this interesting bit. What is an open up? What do you do specifically in an open up?
On Open Up, I work on sound specifically. I do the sound designing and sound mixing in the studio. So everything you hear, the music, the effects and stuff, is designed by me in Open Up show. Yeah.
All right. So, what's your advice to filmmakers who are in Uganda, specifically in Uganda, because this is where we are at the moment?
Well, my fellow filmmakers and whoever has passion, I think this is the opportunity which came to us in a disguise. We just need to embrace it and take it on. We still have more to do. We still have more stories to tell, but we have to tell them differently. We don't need to go into the field, but there is another way we can tell these stories. So it's an opportunity. For example, like me, Mr. Emma, I can assure you that 50% of the film is made in the studio, if you didn't know about it, and the other 50% that is going to the field and stuff. I could say going to the field to shoot takes like 30% of the project, but the other 70 is done in the studio indoors. So we just have to minimize the other 30 of the going to the field on the location, and we find means of recreating this stuff in a limited space because right now we're not allowed to go out to shoot, but we still need to work. People need to survive. So you can't stop us from doing what we have to do. So it's about us to find means of how to recreate these environments. Of course, we have to embrace green screen and computer generated images. So all these so that we can recreate the sceneries we need in a movie, and the sounds which we could need to be in the ambience. So we need to recreate it indoors right now, like having one warehouse which has it, or it can be used as a sound stage and can be used as a filming studio. So that's all we have to do. And also to minimize, like we've seen movies which were shot by limited characters. We've seen movies which were shot in only one room. If you can remember the movie called The Exam.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, The Exam. The whole movie ended literally in one room. We didn't see, we were not introduced to the entire world, but limited there. But the movie was interesting. I've seen a movie which was shot with only one character stuck on the water in a boat.
Okay.
So, and the whole movie ended that way. And it was interesting. So we just need to embrace our story so that we can see how we can still be productive in this limited time.
Okay, that's quite a good example of using the limited space we have. So what do you specifically want to change about Uganda's filmmaking? Like the job you're thinking or something you're undertaking in line with Uganda's filming?
Yeah, I could say many filmmakers in Uganda, and this is what I want to, which I want to change. I could say we are over ambitious.
Okay.
Yeah, we are over ambitious and don't take the step to master the foots where we're stepping. So I could change that perspective. Like I was one of them, and I was too ambitious. I wanted to make movies, and I literally lacked some skills, and I liked how the direction to do it. But when I started working with Mapenzi Media, my perspective of seeing things changed a little bit, and I started to slow down but mastering each step I'm taking. Okay. Many filmmakers in Uganda taking the whole legs into the lake, and they end up being disappointed in the project they have made. Literally, you have to test the waters with one leg. Okay. And then you take another step. I think that's what we have to embrace so that we can still be competitive and competent and literally making sense in the industry we are in. Because I believe Hollywood started way back. Okay. If we are too ambitious to tell Hollywood stories and everything which they make on their sets, literally, I could say we are not yet there.
But we're going there.
Yeah, we are going there. We're seeing where we are going, but we are not yet there. If we haven't mastered stories which are like natural, telling natural stories, than creating these heroes and shooting movies in space. Yeah, I've seen one of characters, Tom Cruise, is launching his project to shoot a movie in space.
Wow.
Yeah, so if also a Ugandan filmmaker is looking at that, yet we still have some African stories which literally don't need a lot of technology to be pulled off.
Sure.
Yeah, so we just need to take step by step, and this is the perspective or what Mapenzi Media came to do. Mastering where you are, and then you're looking forward for what you want to be. Yeah, so if I'm to change that perspective and also to change the way stories are told in Uganda, yeah, we need to make believable stories. We need to make believable characters and not to tell a story just to tell a story. You need to communicate with the audience you're telling this story. So that is literally we need to understand and we need to master.
All right, that's quite interesting. You said something about creating and getting under the skin of the character. I think we need to change that. Yeah. So lastly, I'll be asking you, like, what do you see, what is the current whole situation of lockdown teaching us or teaching the film industry? What do we need to change? How are we going about it? How are you going about it? What does it communicate to the industry?
This pandemic just literally taught us it actually gave us time to master our craft.
Sure.
Like in this period of 4 months, I've learned like 4 softwares
Sure.
which are needed, which are very vital in the film industry. So this pandemic just taught us to shift in technology, the way we're seeing things. We've been making open door films.
Okay.
Now the perspective changed. We need to embrace the technology. We need to do premieres online.
Okay.
We need to embrace some other channels of premiering these movies and making lots of money. We need to connect with our audience. So that is what this pandemic has taught we, the filmmakers. Like, we need to be diverse. We need to embrace that technology. We still need to communicate to our people, but the medium of communication has been lacking, more especially in Uganda. We don't have room where we can premiere our projects and still make sense. And so we just need to embrace that technology, premiere it online, and still make the same money or more than you could make.
All right, I feel you. So if you're a film critic, you've heard from the horse's mouth. And Mr. Charles, thank you for coming through and telling us about Uganda's film industry.
Thank you, Emma. I'll come through if you need me.
Yes, leave a comment below and Mr. Charles will be glad to get back to you. I'll make sure I'm in touch, and we're looking forward to growing Uganda's film industry. We have dreams and we hope we'll get there. As you stay home, please keep safe, maintain a good social distance, wash your hands if you don't have a sanitizer. I am Emma K, and I'll see you next time.